Good morning, everyone. What are we driving today? Well, today I'm lucky enough to be driving the new Mercedes C450 AMG. This car slots in nicely between their base model 300 and their balls to the wall AMG C63, which is the competitor to my M4. This car competes directly with the Audi S4 and the BMW 335 or 435 Xis. And this is a brand new model for Mercedes. Previously this was the 400 and this is replacing the 400. They've beefed it up, they've given it a bit of AMG treatment, they've made it a more sporty car all round, and it really shows. So I'm excited to be driving this. I don't get a lot of Mercedes on my channel, so it's always nice to get a bit of a mix. And I'd previously reviewed the C300 earlier this year and went over a lot of the interior details and options in that car, and I'm not going to repeat myself, so if you want to watch that C300 video, I'll put a link to it up here, and that gives you the general details. I'm more going to be focused on the driving dynamics and the increased performance of this car in this review. Okay, so what's under the hood there? Well, it's the 3-litre V6 turbocharged engine that's had a little bit of AMG treatment to it, so they've bumped up the horsepower, and now it's producing 360 horsepower, which is a considerable improvement over the previous model, which was a new model as well, and it's more importantly, it's competition. You know, the 335 and the Audi S4 both produce around 300 to 330 horsepower. So this car is really top of the mountain at the moment, performance-wise, and it shows. You know, the performance of this car is, shall we say, vigorous. It's pretty nice, but more than just the sheer pulling power of the engine, it's the way the engine revs that I enjoy the most. You know, it really loves to be in those top revs, which is not normal for a turbocharged car. Normally you feel the power taper off towards the end. And this car, it continues to pull right up to the red line, which is impressive. And it really encourages you to thrash it, which is unfortunate because this is a brand new car and I don't want to be thrashing it too much. It's done less than 1,000 miles, so it's still really in its break-in period. But we'll jump on the highway up here and I'll show you what I mean. But on top of the power, this car gets the multi-link rear suspension, which significantly improves the handling over the 300. I'm going to pop it into Sport Plus mode here, and we're going to jump on the highway, and you'll see what I mean. It just corners so well. Down we go. Yeah, see how it stays so nice and flat around that corner? Revving this car is very addictive, and I feel a little guilty because it's still such a new car. And in Sport or Sport Plus mode like this, it's always changing down, and it blips the throttle and makes these little pop noises out the back, pops the exhaust, a bit like that F-Type that I drove. So a very different car to the C300, that's for sure. And I guess a lot of people are probably going to ask me, what's it like compared to the C64, the big one, the monster? Well, obviously a lot of the DNA gets carried over onto this car. You know, it gets the bigger brakes, it gets the multi-link suspension that makes it handle so beautifully, and a lot of the flash inside, it gets carried over as well. But of course the engine's nowhere near as powerful. But it does have some advantages, you know. Obviously, the big one being it is $15,000 cheaper than the C64, which is an enormous amount of money. And it's lighter. You know, this car is more than 200 pounds lighter than the C64. So it has some advantages, and I can see why, you know, even if you could stretch to the C64, this might still be a great option because there's plenty of power. And the handling is so phenomenal. Okay, since we're fooling around on the highway, we might as well try some of these driver assist features that this car has. So I'm going to engage the cruise control. There we go. So cruise control is now on. And it should stay in the lane. Yes! Come on, go around the corner. That's it, baby. That works pretty well. Yep. Look, Ma, no hands. Oh, it's saying, put my hands back on the wheel. No, I'm not going to. Ah, it's out of the lane. So it worked for a while, and then we failed. So I'll slow it down a bit here, since I'm doing so fast over the speed limit. Slow down, slow down. There we go, there we go. Okay, we're coming up to another curve. Stay in the lane, stay in the lane, that's it. Good boy. Okay, we're getting off here, indicating. Come off. Look at that! Sweet deal. Now what's it gonna do? We're leaving the road, get back on the road. Come on, you can do it. Nope, crash time. Well, it sort of works. It's pretty cool. Okay, now we'll try the active cruise control. So coming up behind this truck, and yes, it's automatically slowing down. And will it stay in the lane? I don't want to get too close to that other truck. But yeah, I've got the cruise control set to. Oh, look at it! It is steering. It's steering and using the throttle and matching the speed of the vehicle ahead of me. It does make me a little nervous with the truck right beside me, but yeah, it is working. It's saying put my hands back on the wheel, sorry. But that does work, and once we're clear of this truck, it should accelerate back up to the speed that I've set it to, which is 85 miles an hour. Right now we're doing 61. Come off, that's it. Okay, so it's clear of the traffic in front of us. It's a very gradual acceleration. Okay, onto the externals of this car. Obviously this is a white car with the black wheels, which look nice and sharp, and the owner of this car has tinted the windows as well, which just really brings out a white car, I think. The wheels are the 19-inch wheels. I guess what surprises me is that there really isn't a lot telling people that this is an AMG based car. You know, it's not a full blue blood AMG, but it's an AMG tuned car, and there's really nothing on the back that indicates that. The only AMG indicators are really there's a little badge on the side here, and of course the grille's a little different. And whether or not you like the look of the new C-Class, I guess, is completely subjective. You know, it's nice clean lines. It's a pretty car. I certainly prefer it to the previous model C-Series. But yeah, it's not an in-your-face car. It still looks very similar to the C300, which I guess is a good thing. It's nice to be a little undercover at times. Okay, out of the outside and onto the interior, because it's hot out there and I'm sweating like Bill Cosby. Okay, so before we look around the interior, I just wanted to say that, as always, I am super impressed with the materials used and the fit and finish in this new C-Class. Mercedes have really lifted their game. Whether or not you like the styling is completely subjective, but the materials are top notch. Everything you touch in this interior, in this cabin, is I don't know, it feels like a Rolls Royce inside to me. You know, the buttons have this beautiful positive click to them. Every single button's that way. They all have this lovely aluminium finish to them. The leather is super smooth and high quality. Everything is quality, and hats off to Mercedes for really lifting their game on their interiors. You know, this is such a big leap from the previous generation, and it's a big leap over its competition. There's nothing in the market like this at the moment at this price range. You know, the BMW 3 and 4 Series are nothing like this inside, and the Audi, I know it's about to be refreshed, but it's so dated inside, and the rest of, you know, the Cadillac and the Lexus also not this sort of quality. So really impressed with the quality. Whether or not you like the overall design, you know, I like the way the switches look. I like the way the buttons all work. The center screen here continues to be a little controversial to me. I'm getting used to it, but I just don't understand why they have such big black outlines, why they couldn't have made the screen bigger or the actual case smaller. So that's an individual taste thing, but it works well enough. If we have a quick look from left to right, over here, this is a pretty much fully loaded car, so it's got all the buttons. There's the buttons for the driver assist that I was using before. Obviously all the window buttons, which as I said, have just a beautiful click feel to them, and the seat. I love having the seat controls up here instead of down the side, so you know exactly what you're pressing. It's a good idea. And of course the beautiful speakers from the Burmeister sound system. High resolution screen in the middle, updated steering wheel with controls that I figured out straight away, so they work well. Little paddle shifters on the back here. Mercedes-Benz way of changing gears. I'm not sure that I love it, but you get used to it. I'd still prefer a button or a lever down the center here as well. Because what happens, of course, because that's there, they have to move the rest of the dials back over here, and so the cruise control is sort of hidden when you're driving. You're not sure which way it goes. You'd have to learn it before you took it out, and because it's quite a complicated little button, it's got turns, pull back, up, down, all sorts of bits and pieces on it. There's no way of seeing it unless you're taking a corner, so it's just an ergonomics thing, I guess. And around the center here, once again, more lovely clickable aluminium buttons and these nice switches that just have a quality feel to them. And then down the center here, lots of plasticky carbon fiber, and this rather complicated switch gear that Mercedes have, which takes a little bit of getting used to. But yeah, the rest of it, it's just a fantastic place to be. The seats, I love the seats as well. These seats, of course, have got a bit of deviated stitching on them, which we love. But more than that, it's the softness of the leather and the comfort and the support from these bolsters here. This seat just is super snug for my size anyway. I really couldn't ask for anything better than the seats in this car. Up the top, of course, we've got this lovely big panoramic sunroof, and of course Mercedes put an extra sunroof in the back, so it really gives this car an airy feel on the inside. So yeah, apart from, you know, if maybe the styling of Mercedes might not be for everybody, but for me, I just rave about the interiors. They're just top notch, and I hope that the other manufacturers come up to this standard pretty quickly. Okay, to wrap up, what are my thoughts on the Mercedes-Benz 450 AMG? It's a mouthful. Well, obviously, I'm pretty impressed. You know, when I do a review these days, I try and think of all the good things and a few bad things to give the review a bit of balance at the end. And I'm really struggling to think of too many bad things to say about this car. In fact, the only thing, and it's pretty subjective, you know, a lot of people love the styling, the external styling of this car, and for me that's the only thing that gives me a little bit of pause. You know, I'm still not completely convinced on the look of it. You know, I still prefer the 4 Series and perhaps even the new, the upcoming S5 or S4 will be pretty nice on the outside as well. So that's really my only concern. And for a lot of people, they love the look of this car. So that's just me. You know, I would have thought they would have put a little bit more AMG bling on this car. But then a lot of people love a more conservative, under the radar look as well. And that's certainly what this car gives you. Unless you look closely, you wouldn't know that it's a more performance-orientated vehicle. But otherwise, beautiful car. Love the engine, love the sounds, impressed with the handling, and as always, blown away with the interior of this new C-Class. It's just fantastic. They've just done such a great job. So, you know, I got to hand it to Mercedes. They have really lifted their game recently, and this car, you know, the braking is so great, the steering is so great, the ride and handling, you really notice a difference with the changing of the dynamic controls here. And you know, it's a great package for the money. It really is. You know, I can see why people would even consider this over the C63, because you're getting a decent amount of performance, a great sound, and all the luxury for so much less. So yeah, really enjoyed driving this car. Really struggling to think of anything negative to say about it. I'm really impressed, and I'm not really a Mercedes guy. You know, I've never owned a Mercedes myself, never really wanted to own a Mercedes, but they're slowly turning me around, because recently they've just been producing such magnificent vehicles. I have to admit. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching my videos as always. I'll catch you in my next video, and I'll probably be back in snowy Connecticut. So that'll be a shame, because I'm enjoying the weather down here. Anyway, until next time, see you everyone. Bye then. This one's 50,000.
Were you selling it?
No, it's a friend of mine's. I'm just doing some videoing of it.
Nice.
Yeah. Out of the way, birdies. Stop eating. Poor little guy. Oh. Oh shit! I ran him over. Oh, Gary. The roadkill possum. You live life hard and fast. You will be remembered, my friend. Man, you stink though.